Welcome back, everybody. Well, as we all know, this time of year can be a difficult time for dealing with, yes, family. So how do you navigate through the emotions and the potential conflicts with loved ones, even during this strange year that we've had? Well, I recently caught up with author and mental toughness expert Eric Rittmeyer over Zoom, who chatted about his new book. Eric, great to have you with us here this morning.
Brandon, so great to be here. Thanks for having me, bud. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Let's get right into it here. I'd love to know a little bit about your background for our audience out there, really kind of how it is you arrived at this book, The Emotional Marine. This is such an important topic, but how did you get here?
Yeah, it's funny, and it's a play on words, kind of here emotional, here marine. It's like the emotional piece, the mental toughness piece. So I was in the Marine Corps. I got out, started a business, and I just started picking up on the people I was hiring, the people I was training, the most successful salespeople that I'd work with. There were some common threads there, and I couldn't get a grasp on it. Finally, what I figured out was the most successful people had one thing in common. They were all very, very likable. So I was like, you know what? This sounds very simple. It sounds like basic 101 stuff, but I figured, why not write a book about likability? Like, what are some things that we can all do just to better connect with other people, strangers, people at the grocery store, with our personal relationships? It's just a really simple guide to how to be likable. Not a lot of people know how to do it, unfortunately.
Well, and you're looking at one of them right here. My life is a never-ending quest to become more likable, more affable. So this is a great thing. But, dealing with stress, I mean, this time of year, certainly with the pandemic, it seems to, well, it doesn't seem to be, it has all been exacerbated by what's going on. So maintaining our mental toughness, let's talk about how we maintain our composure at this time of year, especially because whether we're gathering in person, many of us can't, but if we're doing it like this, there are still going to be those things that could potentially set us off. So what do we need to know kind of going into situations where we may become a little emotional?
Yeah, awesome question. I think what's most important to point out here, Brendan, is the definition of mental toughness. There are lots of misconceptions about this. In the simplest terms, mental toughness is emotional control. We're hardwired to feel first and think later. We're emotional creatures. We're not provided any types of training on this. We go to school, we memorize, we regurgitate. Nobody teaches us how to control emotion, how to express emotion. We're taught to suppress it, turn it off. Don't do that. You can't act that way. So we're not given any training. Mental toughness is all about remaining in control of our emotions. Regardless of what's happening to us on the exterior, we have total control over how we respond to that. We're not given any training, especially our kids. Our kids need to know an emotional vocabulary, a way to express how they feel without anger or aggression. So it's all about emotional control.
It really is, and certainly your book can can delve further into this for people, of course. But let's talk about some of the pillars and just some takeaways for our audience right here today. Some ways to mentally handle those hurdles and roadblocks when they come up. The first one that you point out, taking the time to respond rather than to react. This is a crucial one.
It is. When we react, it's knee-jerk. It's emotion-based. Every situation we're put in initially is going to be an emotion-based reaction, as opposed to responding, which is where we process information logically. Then we formulate a response that's not tied to an emotion. When we react emotionally, it's not going to end up in the best situations. We're going to say and do things going to upset other people.
Right. And moving on, staying calm in volatile situations. Anything we can do to kind of maintain that even keel, right?
Exactly right, and very difficult to do, because when we're put in these situations, it's performance under pressure, another milestone with mental toughness. How do we perform under pressure? It's like professional sports. We practice. The field goal kicker goes out there with 1 second left. It's mental toughness. It's his thought processes that makes him kick that field goal and not shank it. Constant control of our emotions.
Yeah, this is great stuff. And moving on, people who were successful during these situations, they suspend their disbelief. So you've really got to put yourself in that frame of mind. You got to kind of take yourself out of the norm, right?
So insanely difficult to do. The problem is, the minute somebody produces any type of fact that conflicts with the belief we have, we automatically default to these defense mechanisms. We have to get better at, number one, being listeners. We listen with the intent to reply, not with the intent to understand. We need to take our beliefs and set them aside and just hear the other person that might have an opposing point of view, but let's just make them feel like, I get where you're coming from, Brent. I don't agree with you, but I get where you're coming from. It's not a win or lose thing. It just make you feel like I heard you.
Absolutely. And I think that's all so many of us really want. And lastly here, you've got to know your triggers.
Triggers are critically important, especially with holidays and big meetings. It's like Cousin Eddie coming over with his dog Snot. Just rub him, Clark. He likes you rub on the belly. We have to be aware of these triggers and know that when one of the triggers happen, if we're prepared for that mentally, it's called systematic desensitization. If we can prepare mentally for those triggers, when they happen real time, we've already prepared for it. So how we respond to that is logic-based as opposed to reacting emotion-based. We can take that trigger, set it aside, and be like, you know what? Can you pass the potatoes and some gravy, please? That's what we do.
Absolutely. And it's all such valuable information, and it is applicable to so many different things, as you just articulated. Lastly, here, where can we get the book?
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. Yeah, my website's best, mentaltoughnessspeaker.com. It's also on Amazon. I'm over social media, Facebook, Instagram, Catch and Hate on Twitter. You can find me anywhere, man. I appreciate that.
That's the true mark of success, I think. And let's face it, Eric, once I become more likable, let's make a deal here. I'll write your next foreword.
That would be absolutely amazing. I would say in our very brief conversation, I don't think I have problems with that. I've dealt with lots of other people that are much more unlikable. You're doing okay, man. You're one step up.
Thanks, Eric. A great pleasure to have you with us. Have a great holiday season.
Likewise, Brandon. Thank you for having me, bud. I appreciate it.